Welcome into a Thursday edition of Your Wildest Fantasy
Oh yeah,
Football Show. Cody, is that a Taco Bell shirt?
I got this for my birthday yesterday.
Nice.
Pretty
We
nice.
do want to say belated happy birthday to Toady on the show. Please feel free to fill the chat with happy birthdays for Toady.
Thank you.
What year was it?
98, baby.
Oh boy, yeah. Hey, we're glad you're still with us after all that time.
That's in a long time, over a decade ago.
I'd say so. So how did you get a Taco Bell shirt? Is there a story with that?
No, it just
Appeared.
my lady friend was like, "You like Taco Bell? I want to get you this T-shirt." And I said, "Don't tell me what my birthday gift is." And she said, "Too late." So got a Taco Bell T-shirt. The dog already ripped a hole in it, so that's pretty good. They come with 4 holes automatically, but she said I need 5. So who am I to argue?
That's a good call on it. So that's an interesting thing to me is you don't want to know what your birthday gift is because some
I,
people want to know. Some people are like,
Mhm.
because then they can say, "Oh, yeah, I don't want that."
I I guess I just like trust that they know throughout the year like what I don't like, and I'm pretty like blunt about if I think something's stupid, I'll be like, this is so dumb. Don't ever get this, or I'll throw it away. So
Yeah, our viewers are probably pretty apparent of that.
right. So I think I like being surprised because there's still a wide variety of stuff that I like or need. And so it's always nice to not know what I'm getting until it shows up. And I'm like, oh man. But best part's obviously the cards, just heartfelt. That's my favorite part about birthday gifts.
Okay, so now we have a very important discussion that has to come before anything fantasy football related. I think birthday cards are the dumbest
What?
waste of money I've on the face of the earth. It's just giving me something, and then there's a moral obligation tied into it too. You're spending up to $7 if you get one of the ones that freaking talks. You get $12 card
Oh my goodness.
on something that I get,
Mm-hmm.
open up, and I'm like, okay, I'm never going to look at that again. Like you just take the
You never,
money out or
you
something,
never,
and you just don't look at it ever again.
you never look at it. I always look at them.
Do you
I've,
reflect on your birthday cards a week after?
oh, I like, I'll have them in a box, and if I ever start thinking of someone, I'll just go over and look at the box and be like, oh, look at all the nice things that they thought, and I love them. My grandma makes homemade cards.
I
My
guess a homemade card. No, but I said even a homemade card. I think that's even worse because then you're like, I really feel awful throwing this away, but
I don't throw them away. I keep
I
them.
don't know where I'm gonna put this or what I'm gonna do with it.
If someone sends me a card, I will keep it as long as I can. It'll be the last thing I throw away. I love them. I think they're so much more personal to me than going out and buying something. Like you're taking time to
But
go
you're going out, or some people are going out and buying cards.
right. Some people go out and buy them. I mean, dollar store has dollar cards. You go buy 2 for $1 sometimes. Any kind of card, just as long as there's something written inside. That's my
You
favorite.
could get an Arizona iced tea for like $1. I
Not
don't know. I'd rather have an Arizona iced tea and then whatever my gift is than a card that I'm gonna throw away as quick as I can without feeling bad about it, and then a gift.
That's fair. I mean, I really enjoy gifts, but I enjoy reading the cards. So it's kind of even. I mean, obviously cards you normally have money in them, but I like seeing the nice little message that's always in there. It's always fun. It's always encouraging.
Toady, big card guy. I didn't see that coming.
I'm a big card guy.
Speaking of cards, there's a lot of injuries to go over before we get into the games for the day. I just wanted to try to make that a swift transition. I don't know how well it worked. As you can tell by my notepad here, a lot of injuries.
I say at least 2 injuries probably.
There are some that I didn't even bring up because I don't know how serious they are. We'll have a full injury report again tomorrow that will probably be a little bit more tied into what could affect the game come Sunday. Just as we know, there's probably a lot of guys that might just get some Wednesday rest days.
Good.
And Thursday could be a better indication of what's going to happen for the weekend. But one thing I've realized after doing the show for a while is normally whenever I say a guy's going to be, seems like he's on track to play, or a guy seems like he's going to be out, like I said that Gronk looked like he was going to be fine. And he's been out for 3 weeks.
Yeah, Gronk, I think he broke ribs.
I think he broke everything. He's dealing, I saw a headline was like he was dealing with a slew of internal injuries. And I think the lack of detail there honestly makes it sound worse.
Yeah. I think I saw someone post and they said, pretty sure Rob broke 3 of his ribs and he just can't breathe long enough.
I think one of them like punctured his lung. I don't know how you puncture a lung, but I imagine it's like one of your ribs just like pops into it.
Yep.
I mean, he's awful.
He's out.
But
there's Tampa Bay side of the ball that's either out or questionable on the defensive side of the ball for tonight's game. Could be tough.
Interesting. We'll talk about tonight's game. I'm just going to roll through these very quickly.
Roll through.
Couple that we mentioned, just guys that are going to be out for a while. Saquon, expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks with his ankle sprain. CEH, MCL sprain, already on IR, going to miss at least 3 weeks. Russ Wilson also out after finger surgery. We don't really know a timeline too specific for that. I've heard 4 weeks. I've heard 4 to 6. I've heard 6 to 8. I've heard a bunch of different things, but seems like a IR situation. They haven't put him on IR yet. And then Juju is expected to miss the rest of the season with shoulder surgery, I believe. As for guys that are a little bit more undetermined as far as how much time they will miss or if they will miss any time, CMC is a game time decision this week. Tyreek did not participate in practice on Wednesday with quad and knee injuries. We're not sure of the severity of that. I don't really even want to determine if he will play or not, but I think Andy Reid said it was pretty minor. Cook was a limited participant with an ankle injury that has hobbled him the last few weeks. Mixon was a limited ankle as well. Carson did not participate with a neck injury that kept him out last week. He's scheduled to return to practice today. We will tell you if there are any updates that come in on that while we are recording. Gronk is out for tonight's game. Julio returned to practice in limited fashion on Wednesday. Galladay did not participate for the Giants with a couple injuries. Shepard and Slayton were both limited participants, though, as was Kadarius Toney. Damian Harris did not participate with a rib injury. That will be one to check in on as the week goes on. Could be Ramondre Stevenson season. Could be Brandon Bolden season. Dallas Goedert is on the COVID list. He needs to be asymptomatic with 2 negative tests before he can return. Possible that he could return by the end of the week. We will keep an eye on that. Devontae Parker did not participate after missing last week with a shoulder injury. He's still working through that. Samaje Perine is also on the COVID list. And then, in a little bit more positive news, T.Y. Hilton and Rashad Bateman are 2 wide receivers that are expected to return this week after being on IR to start the year. That is it for our injuries. As for a couple quick things to mention, just one quick thing to mention before we get into Thursday night football and some Sunday games. Couple buys this week to look out for: Atlanta Falcons, New Orleans Saints, Jets, and the 49ers. So some notable fantasy names missing there. Make sure to get them out of your lineup, whether that's Calvin Ridley, Kamara, Debo. nobody on the Jets. But just some guys, make sure that you have backup plans for them this week. Rolling into the games, we have football tonight.
Football.
And Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Philly. I don't think it's an awful game. Like it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But fantasy-wise, I actually want you to go first on this because my take might depend on what you say.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
We'll find out.
For this game was for Bucks, it's going to be a tough Eagles pass defense. They're letting up let me look real quick. I had it pulled up a second ago. My bad. Eagles are letting up the third least amount of yards with just under 200 yards a game. I think Tom Brady obviously is someone who is good enough to beat the curve here, but Eagles have a good pass defense, so it's
only allowing 28 fantasy points in full point PPR to opposing wide receivers, on average.
Right. So I think it's you kind of take a look at if you have Antonio or maybe even Evans. I think Goodwin's the guy I like the most just because I think he gets a lot of the looks for the team. But I think you just take a look at him and see if you have someone who could fill in. If not, then hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I will talk a little bit about the Eagles in this one. And I think it's pretty obvious person to bring up. After this week, if we don't get a good week out of Miles Sanders, is it just full-on panic time? He's had 2 weeks double digits.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, last week he just kind of skated by with 10.1, and that's only in full point PPR as well, where it's not in double digits in any of the other formats. And his only other double-digit week was 17.3 in week 1.
Right.
That's probably the only week you're actually satisfied with as Miles Sanders owner. So,
right.
I mean, he has some better matchups coming up. He's got Vegas next week and then Detroit the week after.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, he's had some decent matchups already this year, and he hasn't performed. So, none of us are really expecting Miles Sanders to have a massive week against a Tampa Bay defense that has shut down the run against basically everybody. What is kind of your thought process on Miles Sanders going forward if you were to have him or if you were to possibly be in the market for a running back?
I don't think Miles Sanders is the answer if you're looking for a running back. His backup is one spot below him. So, that's not a great sign if they're outside the top 30 here, like they are. If you don't see something good from Miles Sanders tonight, then I think it is panic time. He might be in for a good game. Hopefully. I mean, Tampa Bay is pretty susceptible to the pass, and he does have 19 targets on the year, so that could be encouraging numbers. But yeah, if you don't see something from him tonight, I think you got to get him off your team. And I don't know what you can get for him, maybe a third string wide receiver or something, but you got to get him off your team.
If you could do Miles Sanders for Damian Harris, would you do that deal? I don't know that I could just with the talent, but
it's tough, but maybe. I think I might go Damian Harris.
And somebody else, if you get another receiver or something like that.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a good wide receiver, just someone who's could get you 10 points in a week or something.
Yeah.
Would you
also want to bring up, to your point, the Buccaneers are allowing the most receptions to opposing running backs, an average of 8.4 receptions.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing with that is Kenneth Gainwell has 23 targets. I mean, Miles Sanders has 19, so he's close behind, but he's going to be splitting those. So the upside is really limited on even his passing game right now. And
Right.
in comparison with Damian Harris, that's fine. But in comparison with around where he was drafted,
Mm-hmm.
which would be kind of guys like Darrell Henderson and who else was going around that spot? I mean, he was going as the running back 15, I believe. So
Yeah, he was drafted in 35th overall in the league I'm looking at right now. So like, third round, fourth, beginning of the fourth, maybe depending. So that's just so early, and he's disappointed wicked this year. Would you rather have Mike Davis or Miles Sanders on your team?
that's a really good question.
Because Mike Davis is on the Falcons, and Falcons
Yeah,
gets a dumpster this year.
which is just a tough situation. I think that's like a really good call, though. Like, I feel like that's a very close one. One person you might be able to trade Miles Sanders for, I probably would take Miles Sanders in that case, but not by much. If you took Mike Davis, I would be okay. If you could like trade Miles Sanders and like a bench wide receiver for Josh Jacobs, I think that would be a good get.
That would be an interesting one. Josh Jacobs has underperformed wicked this, or well, not really, but like
He just hasn't played.
right, like he hasn't played, so you might be able to like snipe him low, but I don't know. I want to see a nice big game out of Josh Jacobs. I want to see like a 20, 25 point game.
Well, he's playing the Broncos this week, so I don't know if I would expect it this week, but I think he is capable of just that and like a little bit more than Miles Sanders this year.
Right.
Moving on to our second game on the docket, going into Sunday, Miami at Jacksonville. This game kind of stinks, but
Stop it.
again, well, it doesn't if you're a Miami or Jags fan, or it might. It will for one of them, but for the other one, it could be like an okay, like yeah. But you can't really brag if you're a Miami fan either. Like, yeah, we beat the Jags. Like, that's not really it.
Yeah, no, I don't think either team can, be super happy about this game if they win. Maybe Jags, they finally like beat their losing streak here. But
Florida rival. Everyone knows the Miami Jacksonville rival of the state of Florida is one of the biggest in football.
Rivals of dumpster fires if they're ever.
An injury return that we did not mention earlier, I just forgot, is the return of Tua to the Miami offense. I think he's expected to play in this one. And my big question is, does that really do anything for this offense? Because it's not like they were performing great before.
I think it hurts them. Like, if I'm being honest, I think it hurts them more. Just because Jacoby Brissett, like, has had the reins for a couple weeks now. I mean, obviously you can't get much worse than, 1-4. So maybe you might as well just put him in. But I think I don't know. I think it might hurt like Devontae Parker or something like that. Like someone.
Devontae Parker doesn't need to be hurt any more than he is, too.
Right. Like
I think
it could just be a tough game for him.
Yeah.
If he plays, it's just going to help the guy who I've been thinking about for this game. It's Mike Gesicki. I think if Tua does play, short passes to the tight end are a good option, and I think that's what the game plan could consist of.
I was going to bring him up because I think the big question in that, because you're not starting, I don't think you're starting Tua unless you're in a 2-quarterback league or like a deep league. It's what pass catcher would emerge. I was kind of worried about Gesicki because Tua played 2 games. He really just played the majority of, or played the only game he played the entirety of was the first game, and that was the game that Gesicki got goose-egged.
Right.
So I'm slightly worried about that with him.
I am too, but I think like I hope like the Dolphins as an organization like sat him down and were like, listen, you're not that good yet. Do simple things, build your way up to being great, hit the wide open tight end here, and like get your completion percentage above 50%. And so like I'm hoping like with the new injury and stuff that he is like looking closer now and like to get the ball out the pocket as quick as possible. And so that's where I'm kind of like hoping for. I mean, obviously we're gonna see in Sunday's game, but it's also the Jags, so like you know,
Yeah. I think Waddle could be an interesting buy low here
I like Waddle.
as like a bench piece. Obviously, we know about that connection from Alabama and the connection just to start off the year.
Right.
I mean, his numbers weren't awesome the first 2 weeks if you're comparing them to like starters. He had 4 for 61 and a touchdown, which was 16.1 week 1, and then 6 for 48 on 8 targets in week 2. For a rookie, I feel like starting out, it's not awful. I mean, it's no Jamar Chase, but this isn't really your crazy productive offense either. I think Gaskin weirdly might be the pass catcher that I am most excited about or most hopeful for. I mean, he caught 10 passes last week. That's really a big part of where he gets his touches now.
Right.
Hopefully, I think in the underneath game, like you were talking about, I think that's where Gaskin could really make an impact.
Yeah, he could. I mean, Gaskin does have 26 targets on the year, so he is emerging as a pass catching back. And he's rushing it for almost 5 yards a carry. So like he is
He's
productive.
playing well with the snaps he gets.
Right. But he's only averaging like 30 yards on the ground a game though. So it's like I don't know. It's tough with him.
It makes me feel hopeful for him going forward.
Right. I'm hopeful, but it's the Dolphins, but they are playing the Jags. So
Yeah.
if there's a game that Myles Gaskin like goes out and performs, it should be against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're letting up like 120 something yards on the ground every game. So hopefully for Gaskin's case here, it continues.
You have anything from this game in addition?
I like Arnold and Marvin Jones on the Jags. I just think that those two guys are in for a good game. James Robinson, I think, is going to get some, but I think that Arnold just kind of got there, and now he's like getting involved. Now he's like, hey, I'm here. And I think Trevor Lawrence might like look to the tight end a little bit more. So I think Marvin Jones and Darnold are both interesting plays this week. If you're looking for like a flex or if you're streaming tight ends, maybe.
When you say that, I imagine this is how it's going in the Jacksonville locker room. And I kind of want to I don't know if I need to get full actor mode to do it.
Full actor.
But like Dan Arnold just walking around the corner after. I don't know if I think he came out the gates pretty hot, but going like seeing Trevor Lawrence and going, hey man, I'm here. And the guy's like, oh, this guy's here. I guess I got to throw him the ball. But yeah, hopefully that works for him. Just meeting Trevor Lawrence and having him know who Dan Arnold is. We big Dan Arnold fans. I would say I am.
I think you're bigger. I like him as a player.
I like him as a man.
Oh, okay, then good. Dan the man. I just haven't.
I think that's why. Yeah.
I haven't fully jumped on board yet, and now that he's in Jacksonville, like kind of brought it back a little bit for me.
But as a man,
great man, great man.
Speaking of great men, Houston, Indianapolis.
Oh, Houston and Indy, baby.
The spread on this game is weird to me. I don't get how.
And on Indy,
I can't get that the Colts are that big of favorites. But
wow,
it's just a lot of. I think that's the most. Yeah, a game we will talk about later between the Rams and the Giants is at 9.5. So this is the biggest spread of the weekend, and I just don't understand that we have. I think we have the same record. That's kind of nuts. Fantasy wise, though, I said this is like Jonathan Taylor game. I see a lot of people talking about like streaming quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, he did just come off of a 400-yard game.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think they throw a ton. I think this is Jonathan Taylor game. I think it's more likely, and this is a little bit of a bold statement, but I think it's more likely that Jonathan Taylor runs for 150 yards than Carson Wentz throws for 300.
In this game?
Yes.
I think Carson throws it for 350 yards before Jonathan Taylor rushes. You said rushes only, right? Rushes for 150 yards. I think
I've had the number in my head all week. I don't know why, but I think he runs for exactly 158 yards.
I mean, hey, good luck to Jonathan Taylor. I did say Jonathan Taylor is in for a good game. I just don't see 150 yards before Carson Wentz gets 350. Just on the ground, you know. But hey, who am I to judge? If he does it, he does it.
I feel so good about that I'm willing to bet, and this might be just throwing one up for you.
Put it on the board.
Jonathan Taylor runs for exactly 158 yards.
Jonathan Taylor will not run for 150.
Okay, we got a bet.
I'll take it.
That's 158 yards for JT. I believe in you, buddy.
That's such an easy win.
And that might be my bold. I don't know if I can put it in. It might just be an honorable mention since I already mentioned it on today's show, but that could be an addition to my bold predictions that Jonathan Taylor runs for exactly 158 yards.
I mean, hey, good luck. I mean, they're playing Houston. Houston is giving up. They're not even giving up that many yards.
Hey, they're going to be on Sunday.
They're only giving up 134. Like, where are you getting this?
Well, Sunday's going to be 158. So get ready.
Yeah, sarcasm for people who didn't know. That's right. Sorry.
Also, another quick thing I want to note before you go. TY return.
Yep.
I think you're not going to start him, but might be he's out there in a lot of leagues, might be a good speculative ad.
Right.
Colts fans know TY just torches the Texans. He's played 18 games against the Texans in his career in those games. So that's basically like a little bit over a full season. Right. He has 97 catches for 1,700 yards and 11 touchdowns.
Wow.
Yeah, so just like kind of crazy numbers. On average, that's like 5.5 catches, 95.5 yards, and over half a touchdown. So could just be a big day, and then people maybe overexcited about what could just be like a 1 week thing. Getting TY back in the mix for the Colts. If he is to come out of the gates and just get like playing time, we'll have to see about that. But I think it's worth a risk to just add to the end of your bench and see if you could sell him high at the end of the week, or maybe even hold on to him.
Yeah, he's interesting. I mean, I like TY as a player.
I like him as a man.
Yeah, I mean,
and a player.
Good. I just, with the injury, I just don't know how that will affect him, but I hope the best. But I mean, Texans are exactly a scary team this year. So if there's a team to do it,
there's a little TY for you.
Oh, okay.
You have any more notes to add from this game?
This game, I said, great day for Brandon Cook. I really do think it's going to be a good game for him. He's their number one guy. Just, the only guy really on the team that if you're putting someone out there, I think it's him. I don't know who else you're really putting out there right now. He's got 44 targets on the year. Next closest person has 16. So he is kind of the the man back there, so to speak. And I mean, Indy is kind of middle of the road in pass defense, but I think Brandon Cooks, like, I don't think Indy's defense really scares too many people as far as like their pass defense is concerned. Like, you're not like trembling, but you're also like, they're a good defense, so they're kind of there. But I think Brandon Cooks just being the only guy who can catch the football for their team, isn't Sue going to have a lot of balls thrown his way? He'll catch a bunch of them. He'll make something happen. I think it's going to be a great day for him.
Now, this is an interesting take because since, not really since Davis Mills has taken over, but the last 2 weeks, Cooks has failed to put up double digits, last week being probably his most noticeable struggle.
Yeah.
3 catches, 23 yards, 5.3 fantasy points. You don't see that as a red flag?
I don't. New England has a tougher pass defense than the Colts do, and Buffalo has an insanely tough pass defense. So I don't, like, I see it as like a hiccup. Like, if you were starting them, then it's kind of like, oh no, what do I do? But I think against the Colts, this is a good game for him to bounce back. I think he gets like 15 plus points probably. I don't think he gets back in that 20 in Salon that he was on weeks 2 and 3 there, but I think it's a good double-digit week for him, just because it's going to be the easiest defense he's played in the past 3 weeks. So that's why I like it. It is a little bit more of like a gut feeling, I guess, just like you think Jonathan Taylor's going to rush for 150 yards.
158.
158 yards. I just think Brandon Cooks goes out, has a good game this week.
Fair. I'm a little bit more cautious, but he's a flex play for me, and then it's like tough to say who are you going to start over him. If you have really good options, then obviously, but you also may have just talked me into it just with your gut.
I think
we've been over it before. Cody must have a much better gut than me.
I do have a very reliable gut.
Next game on the docket, Kansas City Chiefs at the Washington football team. There's a couple things that I could say on this game. I think the most important for me to say is Antonio Gibson might just be the most terrifying good player to have or to roster in fantasy football.
Are you sure?
I think so, just with the injury.
Just I'll give you one more time. The scariest player to roster who's good.
Well, I said terrifying. If we're talking about scary, it's his teammate, Scary Terry.
Oh no, sorry. What about Cordell Patterson?
I feel better about Cordell Patterson. I just don't know,
tough.
The thing with Antonio Gibson is it's not like the talent. It's that he's putting up good numbers. He's running back 13 on the year.
Right.
15 plus fantasy points in the last 3.
Right.
But a hairline fracture just sounds bad. It just sounds like you're playing with something that you shouldn't be, and that the littlest problem could cause a bigger problem. I don't know anything about being a doctor, but if you say hairline fracture, just like if you say internal injuries, it sounds very bad. And I'm willing to go out on a limb saying, I don't want a guy who's playing with a hairline fracture regardless of what he's doing, because I feel like at any moment that could get worse. And then it's like, oh, why didn't I trade him while I could?
Right. Hey, I'm with you, but I think it's just like the risk you take if you're rostering anyone on the football team. I
think it's bigger than any other risk. Not scarier, because obviously Scary Terry, but
I'm just thinking, this team can't even decide on a name, so I think it's just like part of their persona, hairline.
This team has a lot of issues right now.
Yeah, hairline fracture, that's on the bottom of their list. So
It's
And
probably not at the top, which is
right,
maybe means something's going wrong there.
right.
Uh,
I'm
but
not as worried, but like I see where you're coming from.
I just don't know like what it means for his durability. Especially we're in week 6. We have a long way to go.
When's their bye week coming up? Oh,
Like if you could trade him for Henderson, would you do that?
if I had,
If you had Antonio Gibson.
oh yeah, I'd rather have Henderson. I think the Rams are a much better football team than the Washington team. Like it's Washington. Like come on. So yeah, I'd rather have Henderson. I think it's gonna be a lot tougher if you have Gibson to get Henderson, but Henderson like already fought through an injury this year, and you saw how he came back and like handled his business. Hairline fracture can turn into something much worse very quickly. So,
And I don't know that, but I feel like
mm-hmm.
it has to.
I mean,
Not that it has to inevitably, but like that has to be a possibility.
I mean, if something bad was to happen, if you already have a pre-existing injury, that doesn't help your chances at all. So,
yeah.
I'm with you there.
What do you have for this one?
I think Travis Kelce's in for a monster week. I mean, Washington is not, scary in the pass defense at all. And just the fact that Tyreek Hill is a little banged up right now with his quad. I think Travis Kelce, like, he is going to be the guy out there. CEH is on the IR, so they're going to have a backup with Darrell Williams. And Darrell Williams, I think, would be in for a decent game. But I think that Travis Kelce is in for like a monster week this week. And I think that kind of helps Williams a little bit. But I love Travis Kelce if you're in like a Pick'ems league or whatever like that, and you can get him.
Like DFS?
Yes.
Expensive, but worth the buy.
Right.
I mean,
worth it this week.
It's weird because the Washington defense is actually okay against tight ends. It's Kansas City that's been really bad against tight ends for fantasy sake.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the receivers that Washington's been the worst against. They're actually 4th in the NFL in points allowed to wide receivers. I think Tyreek could still have a good week if he were to play. Maybe the Josh Gordon breakout day. Who knows? I'm not counting on it. I'm just saying, like, another guy who, if you have a bench spot that's just sitting around or something like that, maybe a speculative ad, see if he could have a good day against a defense that is susceptible to giving one up. The last thing I wanted to mention here, quarterbacks. Obviously, you're starting Patrick Mahomes regardless, but building off of my Taylor Heineke just fandom for as far as fantasy football streaming quarterbacks goes, Washington defense is 2nd in fantasy points allowed to opposing quarterbacks. 1st is Kansas City. So a really good matchup. Obviously, that makes you really like a little bit more the both teams pass catchers as well.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it should just be, and the over-under tells you it should just be an offensive day.
Right. I have a little trivia for you, Kondo.
Oh boy.
How many football players on the Kansas City Chiefs have caught a pass this year from Patty Mahomes?
I know it's high.
It is high.
Because I remember there was a report, I believe, that was like 9 or maybe more than that. I'm going to go 13.
It is actually one higher with 14. Patty Mahomes just throws the ball around.
He'll throw it to you. Hey, he'll probably throw it to you if you shout loud enough from the stands.
He throws it to everyone. But like through all that, Travis Kelce 42 targets, Tyreek Hill 51. Like throughout all that other noise, like just giving it to another guy like a couple of times. Like those two are just like the clear cut people. And I think those two are the only people who you actually roster as like a weekly starter for the Chiefs. Like
For sure.
it's weird to say because Chiefs are just such a high powered offense that's like you're like, oh, they can support like 5 wide receivers. Like no, like Nicole Hardman gets like 40 yards a game, but like he's their number 2 wide receiver. Like I would think that's like what you're looking for in a guy.
Yeah. Definitely hard to trust anybody else. But also the temptation of people. Cody, what's on the top of your screen?
Oh, it's a straw.
Okay, good. I was worried.
I didn't know it was there.
That's fine.
I was wondering why you weren't talking. I was like, what is he talking about?
I saw something and I wasn't sure what it could be.
I think he had a guess of what it was.
It wasn't a straw.
Exactly.
I think just the allure of Kansas City offense makes people who like if someone goes off, people will want that person because they're like, oh, it's Kansas City. So I think that's kind of what I would say as far as maybe a guy like a Josh Gordon or something like that. Quickly, I want to talk about just what are your expectations for Darrell Williams?
Like this week or season long? Because
I think you could say going into this week, but like through the duration of the CEH absence.
Through CEH's absence, I think it's going to be a productive time for Darrell Williams. I think like it's kind of tough to say it, but like I think he might be able to be a little bit more productive, hopefully.
Than CEH?
Maybe. Just like I think he's more of a true runner. I don't think like CEH is quite like the downhill runner that he is. So I think it like helps the team more. I think it's like more of like a real football player or better football player than it could be better fantasy, but I still have medium expectations. I think it's an RB2 numbers for Williams. Hopefully he can peak like, top 15, but I'm expecting like 20, like, high.
Yeah, I think RB2 numbers is correct. That's kind of where I would put him as well. Going on to the second biggest spread behind Indy -10 over Houston.
Right.
Rams at the Giants. This was a hard game to really find much on to talk about. I think we could have the same conversation as we did with Darrell Williams, though, and say, what are your expectations for Booker in this matchup and really throughout the absence of Saquon?
I don't know, because like their offensive line is kind of what holds them back a little bit. Like,
yeah,
Saquon Barkley is a fantastic runner. Like anyone who knows football can see Saquon Barkley is a machine back there, and he's being held to 3.6 yards carry, like with a couple longs, but I don't think Devontae Booker is the same caliber as Saquon.
That's fair.
So I'm thinking like RB2 numbers just based off of like injuries, bye week, stuff like that. But
I think it's like RB2 upside with like probably more realistically like flex, like high flex to low RB2 numbers. I don't know if I put him as high as I put Williams.
Okay.
But also, like, we don't know. Like, we don't know the split of Williams and if McKinnon will get more involved or anything like that. So there is a lot of unknowns.
Right. We don't know the splits yet, but I think
you're starting both of them.
You're starting both, and I think Booker, like, he gets like looks in the pass game. So I think that kind of gives him, for PPR, gives him more of a buff. Like, he might. I think he is more of like in PPR, he's a nicer looking option. I think that's where he gets like higher RB2 numbers.
Agreed. Anything you want to say for this game?
This game, I said, I kind of like went back to last week, or not last week, sorry, Tuesday, when we talked about waivers. And like, as I'm looking at this game, I said, Tony could have a good game. Like, I just looking around at the pass catchers, he has the second most targets. He did have a huge game last game, so like obviously skews the numbers, but like I think he could be in for a good one this game. Like I do. Rams aren't scary in the pass game. They're actually letting up more pass yards a game than the Giants are. And I think a lot of people think the Giants are pretty porous back there. So I think that Tony could be in for a good one, especially with people coming back from injuries or still banged up. I just think like him being the freshest guy out there could help. I don't really know how the game plan will unfold because his coach looked like he was gonna like make the kid cry after the game. So I don't know if like all week they're like you're not gonna touch the ball, like you're just gonna be out there running all day. So have fun. But I assume he could be in for a good game.
Yeah, it was certainly encouraging to see him practicing on Wednesday after them saying, not really being specific about the injury when they talked about it. I wouldn't start him. I don't trust, as it depends, like I guess who's playing.
Right.
But I'm kind of, I guess, going with my gut here that Shepard and Slayton practiced last week a bit. They're practicing this week a bit, and that they will be back. I don't think Galladay will play.
Galladay looks like he's doubtful, but Shepard, Slayton, Tony all look like they're on pace to play. Out of
That kind of worries me as far as
it does
starting him.
I think Tony could be the better option. I don't like again. It's kind of a gut feeling with him just because of what we saw, and also it really also depends if Danny Dimes is going to play. It looks like he could. All the reports are saying that he's looking good on pace to play for Sunday from his concussion, but
Which is crazy.
I always hey, teach their own. I'm not going to tell the kid to sit.
That is not your call, so I understand. Any Rams offensive players in particular a risk this week pending a Mike Glennon start and the Rams most likely dominating the Giants in the first half? I think that is a very possible scenario. If Glennon plays, certainly obviously leans more in the favor of the running backs here in Henderson and hopefully not Sony Michel, but possibly Sony Michel.
I hope Sony has a great game.
I'm not too worried. I think it's like an intriguing game as far as what's Robert Woods going to do and what's this balance with the wide receivers. But like, you can't sit Cooper Kupp. You're not going to do that. Are you sitting Robert Woods after last week? I don't think you can. Like, I just don't see a situation in which you're sitting those guys even with that risk.
Yeah, I don't know. Robert Woods put up 150 yards for you, so it's kind of hard to like say he's not going to do anything this week. That's wicked tough, though. You start Kupp. I think in deeper leagues you start Woods as a flex, based off of who you have on your bench. Maybe.
Like, who is, if you have Devontae Smith?
If I have Devontae Smith, I'm starting Devontae Smith. Eagles are going to have to throw. They aren't going to be able to run the ball. They're going to have to throw. Devontae Smith's their number one guy. I think Devontae Smith's a wide receiver 2 all year. I think he deserves a starting spot on your roster. Anyway, I don't. It's tough. I think you start Woods, but I think you're like looking for someone to
Robert Woods or Chase Claypool.
Who do the Steelers play?
Steelers play Buffalo, I believe. No, they do not. That was an outright lie. I don't know why I said that. They already played Buffalo. They play on Sunday night. I know that. That doesn't really help in this context. They play Seahawks.
Seahawks are letting up a lot of pass yards this year, so probably Claypool.
I agree. It's a tough call, though. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question.
Woods or Amari off that?
Dallas is playing.
Dallas is playing the Patriots. I'd probably start.
That's tough. That's really tough.
I might go Woods, which is bad. I don't like saying that at all.
I don't like hearing it. So, I think I feel. No, I think I have to go with you though. I think
it's just tough when Amari's had no more than 3 catches the last 3 weeks. On the bright side, he's had no less than 3 catches the last 4 weeks.
But I mean, New England has a top 5 pass defense this year so far. So that's also like why it hurts Amari. Like if Amari was playing,
he's just been touchdown, like big play dependent. So like he can make them, but
I think you go with Woods more comfortably than Amari. But it's like that's a close call.
Yeah. Yep. On to our last game for today that we're going to cover. We will cover the rest of the Sunday slate tomorrow, as well as give our bold predictions. Cincinnati at Detroit. I think one of the biggest questions here is Mixon. Obviously, it's a great opportunity for him. The Lions allowed the 4th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Is he going to get the full work, or is this another split in which favors the backup, which in this case could be Samaje Perine, could be Chris Evans? I tend not to like say this. I tend to just go like Chris Evans, but I want to make it known for the people at home. This is not the Chris Evans from like the Avenger from Captain America. This is Chris Evans on the Bengals. Very different Chris Evans.
Right. I think
maybe not very different, but different nonetheless.
Yeah, a little different. Like one's a movie star and one's a football star. So a little different. I think Perine's out. Like I don't think he's playing this game.
I think he could if he gets off the COVID list.
Right, but
we don't know his situation as far as like how easy or difficult that will be.
Right. I don't know. Like COVID's just being weird. I don't know what it is. Everyone already has it. It's great. If he is active, I think they lean on him a little bit more they lean on him a little bit more to help Joe, just get another week. They're playing the Lions. You don't need to be worried about the Lions. And the Bengals have 3 good wide receivers out there with a very capable tight end. So I think like you don't need to rely on Joe or Perine or Chris Evans, not the Captain America. Like this game, I think you could just like get away with like running it like 10 to 15 times and just passing it the rest and be fine. Like
I think they're going to be up in this game and they're going to want to run it.
They're going to want to, but hey, I mean, who are we to judge? I mean, Tom Brady threw it 5,000 times against the Dolphins in like a 200-5 massacre.
Yeah, but that's we've seen Cincinnati when Cincinnati gets the lead in games, whether that be week 1 or that be what was it, on Thursday night, I believe they did this as well. Like, they believe in the running game a lot, and they will lean on it pretty heavily. So
I just don't know if they will if Joe Mixon's the starter and P. Ryan's out from COVID. Do they trust Chris Evans enough?
I would.
I mean, hey, maybe, who knows?
He is Captain America.
He is, but like,
well, he isn't, but he kind of is.
He isn't. But do they trust him enough to be like, here's the ball, don't fumble it, like, don't turn it over, ground and pound it? Or are they like a little bit more hesitant and being like, hey, Joe, we're just going to need you to do 5-yard hitches and slants and out routes the entire game? And I think, like, if Joe, it depends on how they want to like protect their running back, or if they don't want to protect their running back. Kind of what it boils down to for me. If P. Ryan's out, if P. Ryan is healthy, then I think they just will run it.
Would you expect it to be similar to last week, or do you think that Mixon will get more work?
Ooh,
because I'm expecting Mixon to get, like, if he's not fully healthy, I think he gets a minimum of 13 carries.
Okay. I mean,
like 15 touches, I would estimate.
I mean, he got 10 carries last week, and he was out there on 19 plays. P. Ryan was out there on 41. I think the numbers come back to like a more center point. I think they come to like maybe like 40% of the carry, or 40% of the downs go to Mixon and 60 to go to P. Ryan, just as like one more week of a buffer just before it's like back to normal for him. But it all depends on how P. Ryan, handles the COVID thing. So
fair.
That's why I'm a little bit more like hesitant, just because it's not like an ankle injury or a knee injury where someone can just be like, yeah, coach, I'll play through it. This is like the league just like helicoptering in and being like, hey, can't come out and play today, So that's why it's a little bit more hesitant for me.
Interesting. Anything from the Lions side?
I think Swift's going to be in for a good game. I think he is. I don't think Williams hinders him too much this week. I think Lions are going to be down, and I think Williams is the best runner on their team, but Swift is their best pass catcher, only behind Hawkinson. Like, they have no one else to throw to. So I think Swift is just in for a great week this week. Same with Hawkinson. My takeaway was like Swift could finish as like a top 5 back this week, just based off of the fact they have no one else to give the ball to, and they're obviously going to be down. So I think it's going to be a good week for him.
Bengals also allow the second most receptions and targets to opposing running backs. So is a good matchup there. That is it for our matchups for the day. I think we have one final question to end the day.
Better man, Dan Arnold or Tyler Conklin? Tyler Conklin. Dan Arnold's just switching teams left and right. No loyalty.
Well, I mean, he did get traded.
Nah, it doesn't matter.
How many teams has Tyler Conklin always been on the Vikings?
No idea, but as far as I know, and I care, he has been.
I feel like that could be a big part of it. If he has been on several teams and you don't know about it, like maybe he's just trying to cover that up, or Dan Arnold's like,
I'm pretty sure he's
going to be full up front and honest about it.
I'm pretty sure he's only been on the Vikings since he came into the league. 4 years straight with the Vikings. Dan Arnold just swishy-swashy. Probably selling the playbooks. Who do I know?
Selling them?
How do I know? I don't know.
I mean, that's true. I don't know if we could rule it out, but
right, we can. There's only one way to find out, and like,
are you going to try to buy a playbook off?
Yeah,
Dan Arnold. Is that what you're saying?
I knew his DMs, and I'll get back.
One of us go out and make that possibility.
Yeah. Tyler Conklin has actually played all 4 seasons with the Vikings since coming in the league in 2018.
Okay, I do want to mention though, maybe something to ponder. Ty Conklin plays for the Detroit Red Wings as a goaltender. So, like, I don't know if I feel like that might be a more obvious way that he's trying to hide it by just going by the name Ty Conklin and then
But
playing another sport entirely. So not only is he disloyal to his organization,
right.
but disloyal to the sport of football, and then possibly disloyal to the state of Minnesota, also going to another Midwest state in Michigan. So,
I would believe you if Ty Conklin wasn't 45 years old and he didn't.
well, I mean, how else are you going to get him off the trail?
I mean,
Besides, if he's the same age, then it would have been too obvious.
well, if you look at the face, just a little bit different. Ty Conklin's eyes actually do not open up on the left side of his face from just years of getting hit in the face with hockey pucks.
Well, there's like prosthetics and like a lot of things these days. I'm pretty sure that, I mean, how do you think they did that what's it called movie where
what you call movie?
Brad Pitt turns in from like an old guy into a baby?
What are you talking?
I think it's Brad Pitt, right?
What movie?
Ben Button. Main man Ben Button.
What?
I never seen Benjamin Button.
No, apparently I need to go watch Disney movies after this.
It's definitely not a Disney movie. It's available on Peacock with a subscription. Your thingy's hanging out again.
Good. It's my straw. Let her float, dude.
Yeah, it was Brad Pitt. I was right.
Oh, good.
I mean, yeah.
I haven't seen the movie, but hey.
Then you would understand how it's very possible that Tyler Conklin can look.
I don't know why you just didn't say like Mrs. Doubtfire or Big Mama. Like those are two movies that like they changed their face and their whole like.
Big Mama's a good choice.
Big Mama would have been the more like well-known one, I think. Just because
I love Big Mama.
Everyone.
Do you think so? I feel like Big Mama's kind of getting up there in age.
She is, but I mean, like, but like, yeah,
people
who've been playing fantasy, like they're probably like 20 years old. They probably
no. I feel like some of the kiddos out there, like, that might be an older movie.
Sure, Kondo, sure.
Okay.
But no, Tyler Conklin is by far the better man than Dan.
If you believe Cody that he's not two-time in the Vikings, I suppose.
He's not. I've tried, failed. So obviously.
And also another thing in it is, like, Dan Arnold, wherever he's been, he's dedicated everything to that team. He's playing for two teams at the same time.
That would just be like that's just how his cover works. So, like, you don't go in there selling secrets and by like pretending to be there. Like
he's just a businessman. Yeah, like I could say like Dan Arnold selling playbooks is pretty entrepreneurial. I kind of respect that.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it could be. I mean, who knows? Who am I to judge? Really, I'm in no position.
I mean, I think as qualified as anybody.
I am more qualified. You're right, Kondo.
How are we doing the second take extra?
Oh,
we have some actual fantasy questions coming in there. We have to actually do our job.
Going on.
Start 3, full point PPR, Hollywood, Mike Evans, Scary Terry, and Jamar Chase.
Scary Terry, Jamar Chase, Hollywood Brown. Keep Mike Evans off the field.
Really? I'm going Scary Terry as my number one choice, and then Baltimore plays the Chargers.
It's going to be a pass-heavy game.
I might leave out Jamar Chase. I don't know why.
Risky business, brother.
But that might be my move.
Wait, so you're going Hollywood Mike, Scary Terry?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, hey, second take extra. Start Hollywood Brown, start Scary Terry, and then, if you like Kondo more, go Mike Evans. If you want to be right, go Jamar Chase.
I don't like going against Jamar Chase, but I feel
like going against Jamar Chase either. I don't know.
He's just had some monster weeks, and there's going to be one week where he slows down, and it might be a week where they don't have to throw that much. So
I mean, I don't hate it, but I I just am not. I'm not the biggest Mike Evans lover.
I agree. I'm also not the biggest Mike Evans lover. I'm only, full disclosure, under 6 feet tall. AB, Chase, Devontae Smith, and Josh Jacobs start 2.
Devontae. Wait, Chase Edmonds?
I think it's Jamar Chase. It could be Chase Claypool.
Yeah.
I think it's Jamar Chase, but that would be my guess.
If it's Jamar Chase, I'm going Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith.
Yeah. Second take extra. Could we get? Okay, it's Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I'm going
Thank
Jamar
you.
Chase and Devontae Smith. Those two guys.
I'm going. I'm going Devontae, and I don't know if I want to continue the Jamar Chase hate, so I'm going to probably go Jamar Chase just by a hair over AB.
AB was close, but Josh Jacobs was also right there just because.
Yeah, just a tough matchup.
That's tough.
It's a great question. I think he's going to, if I had to guess today, I think he's going to play through it. Now, will it hinder him come Sunday? It might, but he's also playing against a Washington secondary that has been god-awful this year. So I'm starting Tyreek with confidence 100% if he plays, because I think even hobbled Tyreek can have a decent day against this secondary.
Right. I mean, Tyreek's only got below 10 points twice, and then he's got you 37, 47, basically. So he'll be fine. He won't practice today. They already said that. But I assume that's just a precaution thing. So he'll play, is my best guess. And yeah, Washington is not a scary team.
You have your faces covered with this one.
Bro, this is a huge.
Do I win this week? Stafford, Aaron Jones, J-Rob, Hill, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Jefferson. That would have been a wild one.
Jamar Jefferson.
Dalton Schultz. I think he plays for the Lions. I might be making that up. Dalton Schultz, DJ Moore, Bears D, and Greg the Leg. Playing against Mahomes, Lenny, Gordon. Okay, that guy's running backs are tough. Evans, Sanders. Yeah, I think I want to say that you should.
Yeah, always go into the week thinking you're going to win. Don't send the bad juju out now.
Wait, he has Lenny, Gordon, and Henry? And Jacobs?
I'm kind of confused.
Hunter Henry.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That makes more sense. Yeah, I feel pretty good going into the week. As good as you could.
I'm with you.
Start 2, Knox, TJ Hawkinson, OBJ, Melvin Gordon. Double tight end is always a risky one, but in this case,
I'm going double tight end.
It seems pretty tempting.
I don't know. How do you go with OBJ? It's tough.
You can't start OBJ until he does something.
Right.
Melvin Gordon has been dealing with a bunch of injury stuff. Didn't want to just say a lot of injury stuff. Denver plays a team that I just mentioned, and I forget. They play the Raiders this week, so that's a tempting matchup. But I think I'm still going Hawkinson.
Yeah, I'm going Knox. So go with the matching names. You can't lose if their names match. Little known fancy.
I think it's just the K.
Yeah.
But no. Okay. I think that's it for today, unless there are any questions that come in while I'm wrapping the show up. Thank y'all for watching. We appreciate it as always. You can watch any of our shows after we are done recording at YouTube, Your Wildest Fantasy Football Show, and on Twitch at just Your Wildest Fantasy. No, it's your wildest fantasy. And you can listen to us on all podcast platforms as well. Like I said, not only when we are recording live, but after the fact as well.
Right.
Last one from Second Take Extra. One of my leagues, I got an injury bug in bye weeks, so I got to start 3: Murray, Bolden, Bateman, Hubbard, Herbert, Gordon.
Yeah. I think you go Herbert
over Murray.
Oh,
I don't know the matchup, so I got to look at that.
Wait, is that Kyler Murray or Latavius Murray?
I think it's Kyler, would be my guess.
If it's Kyler Murray, then you go Kyler Murray. But since he said injury bugs, I assumed it was Latavius.
It is Latavius. I was just going Kyler because Herbert was on there. That was the only thing that made me think. Mm-hmm. You're definitely going Herbert.
I think you go Bolden. I don't know why, but I think
Khalil Herbert. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Oh, wait, what?
The guy for the Bears.
Oh, jeez. The Bears.
That makes a lot more sense about the injury bug. That's tougher. Let me pull up some schedules here to help out. NFL might scream in our faces, so brace yourself. Latavius, Bolden, Bateman's such a tough start. I mean, obviously, if Hubbard starts and CMC is out, you're going with him. I don't think you're going with him if CMC starts, though.
No, if CMC starts, you don't play Hubbard.
Who do the Bears play? Green Bay. I would probably go Gordon and yep, I knew it was going to talk. Let me freaking NFL.com. I think if CMC plays, I would go Herbert and Gordon. If CMC does not play, then I'm going Hubbard and probably Hubbard and Gordon.
I think I'm with you.
I like
Gordon.
Rashad Bateman, but not to start this week. I like him for the future.
I like Gordon. I guess Latavius too, and then if CMC out, Hubbard.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're fine with that. That's true with Latavius. Who Ravens play, and the Ravens play the Chargers, so they're gonna have to score. Yeah, Latavius might be my choice over Herbert then. So it might be Latavius and Gordon.
And just the fact that they are starting to give him the ball. Sorry, Jesus, talk to the kids. They're starting to give it to him a little bit, so I like it.
I'm a little worried about that getting just a lot more split.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so up in the air about Murray and Herbert. I'm gonna go Herbert still over Latavius as my final answer.
Don't hate it.
But yeah, I think you're not gonna miss out by starting one over the other. Okay, that is it for us. We will be back tomorrow with the rest of the Sunday slate and give some bold predictions.
See
y'all then.
See you then.